Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. Oh, look at that. Got to write that time. What is up, Chip? This week, tonight, and this entire week has been OG week, which is outstanding. Yesterday, we had Sam I Am. Tomorrow, we have Rob Cash. And tonight, we have none other than Jungle Inc. What is up, Jungle?
Hey, guys. Really appreciate you having me on here. Love to see how your channel's growing, all the great content you're putting out. This is an exciting time for sure.
Man, appreciate it. Tonight, we're going to get into talking a little bit about the Ripple, the XRP, and Swift Go, or is it Swift Slow? And can XRP be the new house for smart contracts, the XRP ledger? Chip, you ready to kick this thing off?
Let's find out, Jeff.
All right.
Welcome to On the Chain.
All right.
And Jeff, I think it deserves to be said if you guys don't realize this, but Jungle Inc. is the one that kicked off our channel. He had us both on. We did a live stream, and he officially announced. That's when Jeff and I combined specials, slow growth YouTube channel powers, and we ended up creating On the Chain. And Jungle, you were the guy that launched us.
It was a lot of fun having you guys on. I'll have to get you back on my channel again one of these days.
Yeah, well, we probably shouldn't try that whiskey stream because that's always that didn't go so well either. It's like, sounds like a good idea. And
you down, Jeff, for a whiskey stream?
I'm down for the whiskey stream. Let's do it.
Yeah, they tend to go a little bit longer. I think one time it was like, I think we did one. It was like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I was getting sloshed, man. But anyway, hey, listen, you're only here for a short time. We were able to get you for a very short time. Busy guy, a lot of stuff on your schedule. Let's start unpacking some stuff. So what are you seeing this week? There's so much going on, Jungle. What are some of the things that really are catching your eye and kind of weigh in opinion-wise?
Well, the one thing, of course, I think that's on everyone's mind, unfortunately, is the one thing we don't know anything about, which is the Hinman deposition. And, this is about those attorneys getting him in the hot seat and hopefully getting something out of him. I don't think he's just going to be able to answer nothing, as the SEC had alluded to, or he might find himself back in that chair for a second round. So we'll have to see what comes of that. Maybe we'll never even know, but it's good just to chalk up that win and finally at least have one of these suckers in the hot seat and be called to task and see what he knows. Just for principles alone, I think it was a big win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree on that. And so do you think we ever find out? I mean, where does it come out, the testimony? I guess as they go to potential trial, right? I mean, that's when we might find out what was said. How else will we know? Not any pretrial hearings.
I'm no attorney, but I would guess
you're not.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were.
I guess if he answers nothing, we'll find out because Ripple's going to be complaining to the judge. Also, if he says something really bad on, in that deposition, we'll probably know because we'll get a settlement real quick and it'll probably all be, pushed away and we'll never know of it. I guess we really won't know specifics unless it's something that's complained about in those hearings.
I'll tell you when we know. It'll come out in a week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, a month from now. We'll be sitting around popping bottles. How about that one?
Nice, Jeff.
That's how we'll know.
Popping bottles. That's it sounds like a catchphrase from none other than Jungle Inc. over there.
Jungle Inc.
What do you guys think? Do you think there's anything nefarious here with this guy, or do you think it's more he's just generally incompetent and jumping on the Ethereum train to try to get a payday?
All the above.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. My personal opinion, I don't think there's anything nefarious going on. I think sometimes, we can all read way too much into it. I think there's always a lot of shenanigans that go on in politics. It's just kind of the way it is. People come out of politics, they go right into lobby, they get hired on by big corporation. And maybe it was for stuff they did it beforehand. We'll never know. They pat them on the back, they get patted on the back, they get a big career out of it. So from that perspective, maybe, but I think it's just like anybody else. This guy, right before, he came out, the Ethereum Foundation came and had a sit down with him, and they basically explained, hey, here's Ethereum. Now, my opinion on Ethereum is that it's enterprise level. It's for the smart contract. And we're going to, I was going to talk about something later on, how India is utilizing the Ethereum platform to validate to validate certificates and things like that, and diplomas. And so when you get into that enterprise level, cost doesn't always make a big difference. But I think that's one of the reasons he probably gravitated towards Ethereum, because of the growth in the smart contract and business space. I don't know. I mean, that's just how I read into it. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Government officials are government officials. They're always cool. Look at Gensler. He's like, hey, I teach a class at MIT and I talk about cryptocurrency. As soon as he takes the position, he's like, we got to go after the exchanges. It's #1 on the agenda. Calls up his pal Elizabeth Warren. They got to like write letters back and forth, and then she has to start hitting on crypto. I don't know. It's kind of like the government official thing. They get in there, and sometimes they are hamstrung. Sometimes they're like, they're kind of, you toe the line here. You say this, you say that. But it is kind of odd. You got Hinman and Clayton, Jungle, both of them. They are, modestly care less about crypto. Hinman ended up pocketing something like $14 million from his law firm while he was still when he was on the taxpayer dole, right? And then you got Clayton, who ends up, he's like, he puts out a tweet. He's like, yeah, we filed the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF. Now he's all into Bitcoin. Look, these guys, when they come out of the government, it's payday, man. I mean, they go wherever there's someone's willing to, shove a little bit of that,
And it's all private.
Well, and you got to remember, these guys are criminals of the highest order, so they're not dumb. What they've done probably is not illegal. It just should be, unfortunately. So, hopefully we get something out of all this, but it's one of those news stories where we don't get at least immediately to know what's going on.
Yeah,
that's a great point. That's a great point. Hey, I just got to give one quick shout out here as we're going, but Papa Hodl is in.
That's if you don't know who Papa Hodl is, that is Jeff's dad. He is in here. He goes by Papa Hodl, and he's we're gonna get him back on the show once he's back at it, as they say, right? And who else? Oscar jumped in here too. I wanted to say Oscar threw something up. Jeff, I wish we could put these in a queue, because then you can't find them when you want to put them up. But anyway, he said he has got jungle fever, so he's all excited about that. Patsy Green, she's in tonight too. She's really from Ireland as well, right? She's from over there in the UK. What's up? It's late for you.
So, man, it's so great to have Jungle here. I don't know the last time we had a conversation with Jungle. It's like this whole year is kind of like a blur,
man.
And
yeah,
it
has been.
You want.
Yeah, it really has been 1 year blending into the next here, the last really year and a half.
Yeah, it's like it seems like yesterday, but a distant yesterday, So the one cool thing, Jungle, so the stuff going on with the SEC and Ripple, it does seem like the SEC has stepped in. Like, what do you think is happening there as far as a lot of these pretrial hearings? This doesn't seem like they've got it together. What's going on over there at the SEC?
It's kind of weird where you have this again, obviously launched by the prior administration, and then much of it conducted before, I don't know, I guess you don't call them administrations with the SEC, but whatever you want to call it, before Gensler took his chair position. So I'm sure it's not put well together, and beyond that, it's probably a tough case to try, because there is so much gray area, and you're trying to make the argument in your favor when you don't really have the applicable laws there on your side. So I'm sure it's a tough one, and that's probably what we're seeing here, where Ripple is winning most of these legal arguments, and I think that's only a good thing. Again, I can't begin to understand what that means, but luckily we have some great attorneys who do this for a living that tell us, hey, these are important wins, and this is what it means for us. So I think at the end of the day, win or lose these hearings, it's going to end up in some kind of settlement. It's just going to depend on how good a settlement we get.
Yeah,
that's an interesting point. Yeah,
I think they take it to the mat. I think they pile drive it at this point.
Yeah, so settlement, do you think we come out of the settlement with some form of regulatory framework, regulatory clarity? What do you think is coming up here on the 28th? So Elizabeth Warren put that letter out to Gensler and said, hey, by the 28th, you have to have a response. So we're getting pretty close. I believe that's tomorrow. So what is going to happen between today, the Hinman deposition, and tomorrow, the Elizabeth Warren line in the sand to Gensler? What happens tomorrow?
To me, my feeling is that whole thing of Elizabeth Warren demanding this is just kind of like a soapbox for Gensler to stand up there and dictate all the things he's going to need. Because we do have a problem right now. Of course, the SEC, they have control over securities. it's not clear who has control of digital assets, which is clearly not a classic security. I think this is where he's going to dictate, hey, no one has control of this space. This is the powers we need, and it'll eventually get ushered in there. So I'm not really sure how much this trial matters in that manner, because the rules are coming and they're going to be here, and it's going to dictate how this space is eventually regulated. I think for Ripple to do any quote unquote settlement and end this thing, they're going to have in there that A, you can use the token for its utility purposes, and B, it's okay for trade on the secondary market. And the question is, are there any restrictions on how Ripple themselves can sell? Do they have to, sell overseas but not in the United States? Does that even matter? I'm not really sure, but I think that's just a Band-Aid anyway until we get some sort of a legislation through here that dictates, it is the CFTC or it is the SEC, who I think it's gonna be, that has control over the space, because it's not a security. Digital assets are computer code. It doesn't give you ownership in stock. We know all this stuff, but someone's going to regulate that space. Who's it going to be? I think this is where Gensler kind of throws his hat in the ring and says we need these powers for these reasons.
Yeah, that's potential. So let's just kind of like segue a little bit, because I know we have you for a limited time, but let's talk a little bit about Flare. Like Flare, the rollout, Songbird, a game changer, just another project. How are you looking at Flare right now?
Super excited about it. It's one of these things I see some people claiming this is going to murder Ethereum. It's going to take it. Like, I'm not going there. It doesn't need to be, but I'm excited about the potential, and it's a space I'm going to invest in. We're early days. That's what you're looking for. You understand something that most of the other world does not. They don't even know this is a thing, out there. It's your chance to get in early. Same on the same token, Songbird. Again, I know it's just a test network in some ways, but it's one where even the people that do know about it, I think, are discounting it, and it's a space I'm going to get in early. Now, these are all, it's not like investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, where these are established and have volume, globally. I'm going to be careful, but definitely start picking up some of these tokens, using those tokens to earn off of, and I'm very interested in the Flare Finance tokens on top of that, trying to earn those. If we're lucky, we get early Aave, we get an early Link, we get something like that, where these tokens can really swell in value over the long haul.
Did you say swell? That's a good word right there, swell. Happens
and
every
on the flip
year.
side, of course, that's me as a greedy investor here, but the utility of it, when you look at DEXs that you can use without paying an arm and a leg like we get with Ethereum, where you pay $200 with the transaction, that's just ridiculous. You get usable systems. That's what I'm excited about as a user as well.
Yep. Hey, I want to take just a quick moment to just give a shout out to the sponsor of tonight's show is permission.io. So permission.io, you guys know how you're out there browsing around the internet and you run into all these ads out there from Google, from Facebook. And these guys are out there collecting all your data. They're making money off your data, and you get nothing out of it except watching all these ads. Then permission.io comes along and they're like, hey, you know what? You can actually monetize your data and you can actually benefit off your data. So they put this this program together. They have a browser extension. You put this browser extension up there, and every time they come up with an ad, they're like, here you go, check out this ad. You can engage with the ad, you can watch the video, and then you can earn Ask token. That is ASK token over there on permission.io. Check it out. Check it out, the browser extension. Go to permission.io and start earning some Ask token. You can hold it, hodl it, you can exchange it. There's so much to do with it. The main thing with all of it, Chip and Jungle, is that you get to monetize your data. You're taking control over the space. It's outstanding. Loving it.
Yeah, it really is. It really is pretty cool. Yeah, thank you for that, Jeff. Yeah, Jungle. So, one of the things that I'm pretty excited about, like what I love about, they're not the very first one to do the canary test. The thing where, when we're testing software, not blockchain, but, when you have a test net, problem is you could spin up like currencies, like Patsy Green. If you're in Canada, you can spin up like, the Canadian dollar, US dollar, but it's not real world. So you're in a sandbox, you're playing around. What I love about the whole idea of the canary test, network that they're running is that token is more than likely going to have value, that Songbird, which will attract what? The bad element coming in there trying to break it, punch it up a little bit. And that's what you really want. You want to break this thing. You want to put it to the test and test it. But I mean, how about even Flare Finance? I mean, what that Sparkle, the NFT platform. Today we got wind of another Evernode, which is smart contracts built on the XRPL. It's just starting to get exciting. We're early days. Your thoughts on all that?
You know, the first time when I heard about this, most people don't know this, I'm generally very negative about things, and I don't want to record a video until I think about it a little bit. And I went to Jerry Hall and I said, Jerry, is this kind of gimmicky? Is this one of those things you're just running it out just because DOT has it? I'm like, you know, DOT has the parachain limitations, and it makes sense they're not here. And he's like, anything that's going to protect that end user from catastrophic loss is a win, you know. And the more I started looking at this, I thought to myself, yeah, this is going to help them develop Flare more rapidly, because you're going to be able to know, you know, your various applications are secure and do so quicker because they've been in the live and in a real type of environment. And so I am very excited about what they're doing, you know, with this. And I think it's one that people are underestimating. And so that interests me as well. Again, trying to be an early investor and user in that space, and seeing that Flare Finance is going to start there. And much like we got with the beta, we can test those systems out and learn them down to a T before the launch of actual Flare, I think is important. But we get to this time earn real rewards. You know, I'm not so into the beta where you're getting dummy tokens that have no value. But now we're going to get real value back for testing the systems out. That excites me a lot.
I'd say that you bring up a great point, and I think that's extremely significant. You know, some people look at what was going on with Flare Network and like, oh, wait a minute, there's a delay. You know, now we're having more delays of, you know, the launch of the Spark token. But the point that you're bringing up with Songbird, being able to utilize a token of value that can increase in value, because like Chip was saying before, you know, all sorts of hacking, whatever, could potentially be pinging off of it, trying to find its weakness, and it potentially can push up the validity of this new product that they're going to launch for a test case. But it's a test case in the real world. When was the last time you got an opportunity to actually test something in the real world? And they're like, here you go. Here's your snapshot. We're going to give you the Spark token, but now we want to test the whole platform. By the way, here's another token. Have fun. Experience our platform, test it, do all these great things with it, and it's in the real world. I think, man, I'm excited about it. I agree 100% with what you're saying, Jungle. You know, it's an opportunity to see something develop and be there on the launch phase of it, and to get your feedback on this part of it. Because I look at Ethereum, everyone's looking for the flippening or the product killer, whether it's XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum, because those have always been in the top. I look at smart contracts as critical overall to everything that we're orchestrating in business, whether it's B2B or B2C. We're going to see a lot of changes. And Chip brought up Evernode, and we're seeing what Flare is doing. We see what Ethereum's doing. What is your perspective on this from a business side of it? Do you see everything developing on the smart contract side as being critical and being part of the business of the future, which could be now, it could be 5 years from now?
Well, it is that feature set that you need for those next generation applications. And it's one of also the reasons I'm excited to see, not just with Flare and Songbird, but what we see at least proposed in the XRP ledger. It's been the one thing missing. And now we're looking at these side chains that likely will be developed, and the Hooks Amendment that gives them a lot of capability here. So I think this space is just going to be pushing forward, more capability. And, you know, I think we're still waiting on those applications that we use, not because we're just trying to earn tokens, but they make our lives better. And I think they're coming in a hurry. I think we'd already have it with Ethereum to some extent, but again, because of those high costs, I think it holds a lot back. So you're getting a lot of contenders here. You're going to have Flare, you're going to have ADA, you're going to have DOT, and of course, you're going to have the XRP ledger. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. I mean, number 36 or 35 right now, Algorand, is an amazing, from a technological standpoint, blockchain. So I think this is wildly different than 2017. And I think these feature sets are absolutely vital if you're going to have those applications of the future we're going to need.
Agree. And Algorand too is like, it's kind of fun a little bit, but even Michael Arrington, who also runs the XRP fund, he opened up the Algorand fund, and that has tremendous amount of potential. But there's stuff too. Look at Quant. You look at as far as interoperability with blockchains, and you go, Polkadot. There's just a lot of quality projects out there where maybe like 2-3 years ago there wasn't. But aside from a project like Algo, what other projects out there? Aside from some of the ones we might think XRP and or XLM, what other projects do you look at and say, hey, there might be an interesting use case, or there's something about it that is appealing?
Well, you just named one of them, QNT, and I got that from my buddy Minus. He's always coming up with these gems.
He's good.
I remember he told me, that coin was really, really low, and you had to go on these shifty exchanges to pick it up, and just all sorts of stuff. So I think QNT is an interesting one, of course, because it is quite different, and from what I'm hearing, it's going to be absolutely massive what they're trying to do. In general, right now, when I look across blockchain, with this last dip was kind of nice. You saw the prices come down, but still everything's pretty high compared to the luxury we had in that long and vicious bear market, where XRP has been held back in ridiculous fashion, and we're still quite a bit higher than we have been over the last few years. So for me, I'm just kind of watching things develop, watching this market cycle play out, and just trying to stay on top of everything. There's just a ton of development going on out there.
Yeah, there really is. And a little birdie told me about it, but Quant, yeah, I did pick up some, but it wasn't so much later. And I remember Crypto Eddie saying, in her little whatever, what are those little groups you join, whatever. But what are they called, Jeff? I don't know.
I don't know what
499 specials. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, she was like, yeah, she talked about really early days about XDC. And Minus Wells, another really phenomenal thing. If you want to know the early stuff, he's all over it. If you guys follow him on Twitter, it's Minus MINUS Wells, WELLS. Just search that, you'll find him. But he seems to have his finger on the barometer, right? Especially some of these what do they call it? They're called master nodes, right? What are they called?
That's absolutely right. So expensive now even to get a pack node. It's ridiculous, but he was getting them when they were really, really cheap.
Yeah, the whole idea of the nodes and being able to run your own validator node it's so, I find it amazing, because here you have all these protocols that are being built. Some of them are already cost prohibitive. Some of them are more reasonable to get into. Then you have some of these opportunities to start mining, like with helium. We're still waiting on getting the 5G helium miners. Hopefully we'll get access to those in a couple months and start testing those out. There's so many things that are going on in the space and keep developing, which is exciting. But hey, I want to bring this up. I want to get your feedback on this. Chip, you found this one. It was a tweet by John Deaton, and he brings up here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. It says here, so we get into paragraph 285 and 286 of the SEC at Ripple complaint. It states that investors in XRP cannot grow the XRP ecosystem and increase demand for XRP. And here's the most shocking statement. I want to get your feedback on this. It says most, if not all, XRP investors simply lack the technical expertise and resources to do so. What can you imagine? I mean, here you have the SEC has gone out of its way multiple times to attack XRP investors, and now they're going over and above, saying most, if not all, XRP investors simply lack the technical expertise and resources to. I mean, could you imagine that?
Well, I assume when they say that, they're talking about people other than Ripple. So the first thing I would do would be card up Wind over there from XRPL Labs and have him have a little discussion. They're obviously outside of Ripple, but one of the most amazing developers out there, and all the other people under him even from, back in Twitter days, I'd have a conversation with Dr. T, and we'll see how unsophisticated and technical, he thinks people are from this community. So we have amazing people out there, very smart. I think even Hugo originally came from, the XRP community. So you have all sorts of developers out there that are doing amazing work, people that maybe aren't developing but understand this technology and where it's going. I mean, I'll have them talk to Hodor, with that statement. I mean, there's just super, super smart people out there, and it's a really ridiculous thing. We see people outside of Ripple pushing this space forward.
It's weird about, those are two like real big personalities. I remember Hodor, he said, hey, I'm stepping away, but I'll come back. I'm going to go build something. And at some later point in the future, you'll kind of know who I am. Like I'm going to step out from behind. And we never did find out. I mean, not that I'm aware of. Did we, Jungle? We ever find out who Hodor's real identity was?
No, I'm the worst at that. Anytime I'm trying to figure out who people are, everyone gets accused. I never figure out who the real person is. So
Dr. T was another one. Disappeared just like a couple years ago. Just disappeared off the net. Was on there every single hour of the day and then just gone. Nobody knows because nobody really had a purview into who it was. But it's funny to see how times have changed from just a year ago to 2 years ago, 3-4 years. We've been around in space for a while. When did you start? First of all, your YouTube channel didn't start out doing crypto. What did you start your YouTube channel to do?
It was like gaming, and then it went to politics, and somehow waffled over to crypto. I just kind of talked about whatever I was following at the time, and I would do a gaming video, maybe get 10 people to watch it, but I enjoyed just making videos. But once I started making crypto videos and you get some actual views, that was a lot more enjoyable. So I've stuck with the crypto.
And it's amazing. I think so many people in the space, you think about Jungle Inc., and it's probably one of the first videos most people watched.
Mm-hmm.
And there always seems to be a progression. Always seems to be, there's a handful of YouTube videos everyone talks about. Yeah, Jungle Inc., there was DAI back in the beginning, and Crypto Eddie, and then you kind of go through the cycle, but everybody always falls back on Jungle Inc. I mean, it's amazing. And there's certain things that you do on your YouTube channel, kind of like the whole popping bottles thing. And even just the intonation that you have when you say different things, when you talk about it. I think back to the very beginning when I started, looking into crypto on YouTube, and, and I started hearing, some of the things you were saying. I'm like, man, it was like motivational and informational. There was so much stuff, on it. And I know I've brought this up before, but it was listening to some of your videos and kind of wanting to be more educated in the crypto space that pushed me into wanting to make YouTube videos. And I always like kind of reflect back on that. And it's like, I'll listen to your videos and it always brings me back to that heyday. When you hear like a certain song or something, I hear a Jungle Inc. video and you see, those like that intro, and always brings me way back to the beginning, like, 2-3 years ago when I first started investing into crypto.
People ask me, they're like, hey, you don't hit on the table anymore. You're not talking about Bentleys and whatever. Like, you lost your faith in XRP. And from what we've seen and all the developments, I have more faith in what's going on here than I ever had. More belief. What I don't have is my ability to be able to call. The price is going to take off. I absolutely still think it's going to be explosive. So sometimes I just like to talk about, hey, everything's okay. This is what we're seeing. More a little bit mellow than I was at the beginning for that reason, because I have no idea when this thing is going to take off, but I feel more assured than ever that it will.
Also, a lot of things change in your life too, right? So, you're in a different place in your life too, especially since, you start doing adult things and having kids and start doing, there's all that stuff. You got to like sort of change your perspective a little bit, because you're a new dad. And how's that change your perspective on the world? And how do you see that, raising a child and seeing what potentially is possible? Because when you start talking to your kids as they get older, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? 8-track, they're like, what are you, a cassette tape? They're going to have that same reality where, who knows where digital assets will be by the time your family grows up, right?
Oh, wait, hang on. Before you answer that, hang on.
The usual, sir. Please.
Please. Yeah, well, how that came about is one time I just mentioned the word cassette, and that thing is stuck with us. One of those inside jokes that never goes away. I don't know how it happens.
Did a
this
whole
is what
thing on
happened,
this.
guys. You got to understand. I looked at XRP when it was 6 cents of a cent, and I went, "Wow, it's pre-mined. It's all this. There's a gabillion tokens." I go, "It's overpriced at 6 tenths of a cent. The only thing that's worth investing in is Bitcoin." And to my horror, it hit 25 cents. Now think about that. It went from 6 tenths of a cent to 25 cents, and that's when I decided to start investing. And the sucker went to $3 from there, to 380. This is too easy. Of course I can call when it's going to go. You find out life's a little more vicious than that, but it's not always that easy. But I think the more you know about it and the real developments that we see happening, I think you have to be confident. But again, there's a lot of things. No one would have saw the SEC coming around the corner, I think. So you learn, you don't try to call when it's going to happen, but I still feel it is going to happen.
Well, it depends who you are. Depends who you are, right? Because sometimes you go like next week, next Saturday, in 2 weeks, and all these the people that tweet that stuff. XRP $4,792 tomorrow, and then that doesn't happen. It's like, well, no, sorry, it was next week, it was next month. There's a secret document.
By the
way, how we doing on time?
Riddler. We need a good new Riddler. We don't have anyone, right? I mean, we have Cogs, but kind of
we have Cogs.
I think we nominate Chip. Let's nominate Chip as the new.
I don't want to be a Riddler, man. I just have a secret
pull up
bears
a
and riddlers.
There, Chip, let's go.
No, I don't want to do some riddles. There's only one person there now, and it's just Bubba Cogs, and he's the one that's he's in the family, man. He's the one that gets the info. They apparently they trust him, they follow him, they give him some little snippets, and he's funny, man. When hey, by the way, we were up on time here. We're at 31 minutes. We said 20 minutes, and we went over. Our bad, Jungle.
He's got another 20, and then he's good to go. So,
well, I'm watching the kid on the monitor. She's sleeping, so we're okay for now.
Awesome. So we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the big one, Jungle. All right. Back in the day, you were super hot on Coinbase. Remember, it was just like when Coinbase is going to list XRP and Coinbase is going to list XRP. Obviously, it didn't happen when we expected it to happen. It eventually did. But here, your call now that Coinbase has gone IPO, direct listing, it's on the stock exchange. What is your perspective and viewpoint on Coinbase as it sits today?
As far as when they're going to list XRP, you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that too.
When are they bringing XRP back? Well, that and just in general. What's your thought on that listing? Yeah.
I mean, of course, people that are really in the blockchain, you're not like Coinbase isn't necessarily your favorite thing, but I think it's a great business. It's one that I want to invest a lot in, but I also understand we're in the middle of a bull run. The market is very inflated. I'm sure their stock is as well. So I don't know if it's a good time to buy. I've been buying it, a little bit, but it's good to see blockchain companies go public. It's something that's going to continue to happen. Sorry, I lost my earpiece, guys.
That's okay. Darn it.
I'm back. Anyway, I want to keep investing in it over time. I'm very careful with Coinbase right now, but I think it's going to be a winner over the long haul. I think any major, company within blockchain will be. They're just on a whole different level.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact. Well, I mean, when Kathy Wood doubles down and goes out and scoops up a whole bunch of shares, you go like, she's always, she has the ARK funds are performing extremely well. At least had a great run last year. And she's always like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, but then she scoops up a ton of Coinbase. So I'm like, there's got to be something to it, right? There has to be a little something there. She's expecting some adoption or something big, some kind of a bang over the next year or two. So she can maybe 3x, 4x that potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, again, I don't know where that goes, but I've been buying a little bit. I bought a little Voyager as well. It's kind of smaller exchange there. I think it's even a pink sheet. But again, a little bit of the Bitcoin mining operations, but nothing I would go wildly into at this point. But hopefully we see the space grow.
One thing I was going to say, I wanted to bring this up before we were talking a little bit about Songbird. It's kind of disturbing to me that like somebody asked Kraken in one of these tweets, like, "Hey, are you going to list Songbird?" Like, look up our official ruling on drops and how we handle that. It's like, okay, yeah, I got it. They have to have some sort of a line because otherwise it'd be like, hey, let's drop this, let's drop that. You have this token, and then it's a way for everybody to just sort of get listed on exchange. I think this is different. And I'm kind of curious, it's like, well, BitTrue was the first to the party. They were like the day on the launch. They're like, we have it. We did it. We did it. They're about ready to list Songbird and start, selling it out the back door. Just like, hey, we got IOUs in Songbird. I'm kind of waiting for that to pop next. But they were like within an hour. Meanwhile, there's so many exchanges out there now that obviously, if you have cold, wallet, you're okay. But what do you think about some of the, I guess, resistance from some of these exchanges that they may not even, if you had your XRP on an exchange at the time of the snapshot, you might not be getting Songbird. What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good deal, or do you think they'll be pressured into potentially offering it?
Well, I think at first, we even saw back in the day with the Bitcoin Cash, fork. I think it took Coinbase some time to actually release those tokens to people. They actually had a severe tax effect on those people. But yeah, I don't know that they're going to run off. It wouldn't be a good look if Coinbase went running off of people's tokens, but they may not distribute them right away. They really should, though. You don't have to list the thing. You can just distribute them out to people in some manner. It's going to be interesting there. Again, not your keys, not your crypto, so it's a problem. I had some XRP on Coinbase at the snapshot date, but most of my stuff I held directly. So that's just another example of why you should hold on to your crypto. We're kind of at their mercy at this point.
Yeah, good point.
Great point. So, hey, there was some commentary going on here. I know tonight you couldn't be on camera. You've been on camera before, but Sir John has been he's the culprit of the night, wondering why you didn't have your face on camera. But I'll show you, you know what? Not everybody is comfortable at every moment to have their face on camera, especially when they're out singing.
Wie einst Lily Marlin. Wie einst Lily Marlin.
I had to find a way to get that one in. That's Sir John.
Wie einst Lily Marlin.
That's the Hans loaded super track right there. That he took the original. That's what happens when you're stumbling home from the pub at 2 a.m. You start to sing something and post it on Twitter. Watch out for these guys right here, Jungle, because if we snag that, it's over, man. But Sir John is a resident PhD economist, and he chimed in with some good stuff on the OTC channel earlier, and that's something we'll probably end up getting to as well. But yeah,
I felt actually stupid about that because yesterday you had Sam I Am on, and he had this like beautiful looking studio. He's really taking that to the next level, and here I am, just a blank screen.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? I was expecting a gladiator photo at least. I was like, if we could just get a gladiator photo instead of the little
Circle.
the circle with the little body type of thing. I was like, man, don't even get a gladiator picture or anything, or or the banana profile pic, or
Everybody connects with Jungle on the voice level, which is cool. Doc's Gambling, want to just give a quick shout out to Doc's Gambling. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Moon XRP. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys. And Jungle, you know what? Although we might have the slowest growing channel in YouTube history, we do have the smartest subscribers, I think, of any YouTube channel that come stumbling in here, whether it's video clips when they're out late at night singing, or when they're just commenting in the space. Well, we have a lot of smart people here with us, which is outstanding. And the guests that we bring on, like Jungle Week, also some of the smartest in the crypto space. I want to say sprace in the crypto space. Appreciate you guys. And just a quick shout out, if you're brand new to On the Chain, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up, and that bell notifier. There you go.
That's right. And I'm going to get this with Doc's Gambling. A little wow button. A little wow effect. A little whoa, woozy. A little wow.
Go.
So,
well,
yeah.
guys, I'm going to have to run here. Thank you so much for having me on. A lot of fun. We'll sit down when we have a little more time, but I appreciate it.
The next time you show your face and a little whiskey. Thank you, Jungle. Really appreciate you coming on, man. Take care, man. Thanks.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, well, it was fun having him on here, man. It was really cool getting him on here. And
man, it's been like a year since we spoke to Jungle like that.
I might have been over a year. I happened to be looking up, putting the video up for tomorrow night for Rob Cash. We had him on January 20th, 2020, right before it hit the fan. Right before everything went.
Man.
We had him and Eagle on, and we had a pretty cool show. And I I kind of press the button, and you get sort of watching it. You're like, man, you know, you look different. I look different. I bet you Rob Cash looks the same. Now, I'm kind of wondering what he's going to wear tomorrow. It's going to be some Steelers paraphernalia, you know, maybe a beanie cap or like maybe a shirt. I don't know, something along those lines.
Some opposite paraphernalia.
Something along those lines. And
I don't know, find something.
let me throw this up here really quick, because this is like on the subject. This is Brad Garlinghouse. Only about an hour ago, he threw this out there.
And an hour ago, it's like real time. Look at that.
Yeah, he was talking about the Senate Banking and Housing, committee, Democrats. They did this little shindig today. I don't know where they find these people to invite who are the authority. They're from academics. First of all, academics don't live in the real world. Please stop pretending they do.
Part of academia.
Yeah, academia. Okay, academia is like is probably the last people you want to, and people you've never heard of, that have like highfalutin titles and nobody cares, right? So he gets in. So Jeff, look at this. I'm encouraged by this morning's Senate banking hearing that members of Congress are looking to understand the nuances within crypto, a far cry from a few years ago when some thought crypto is just a fad or mostly for criminals. Is he paying attention to what's going on in Congress over there? I just want to give him like one attention. Right?
Well, maybe he's paying attention to Tom Emmer or Ted Budd or Warren Davidson or Darren Soto, the powers that be that are always coming out promoting and pushing, good bills towards some regulatory clarity. I want to say regulation, positive bills for the crypto
potentials. Yeah, and he goes on and saying how he's encouraged by bipartisan efforts to provide the regulatory frameworks. All right, perfect. Like any tech or currency, crypto and blockchain can be used for good or bad. He's kind of playing into that whole thing we've been hearing coming out of a lot of naysayers in Congress to discount the real use cases for billions globally, cross-border micropayments, tokenization, instant settlement, transparency, to name a few, just off the tip of his tongue there.
I don't know if that's any good.
Right, because the actions of the few is sort of... Now, Jeff, take this one right here, because you got to take us through this one here, please.
All right, here we go. So as Senator Warren has recognized, our current banking and payment systems needs improvement. I don't know, did Senator Warren recognize that the banking and payment systems need improvement? Because I know for a fact, people in the crypto space have recognized it.
Right.
Crypto and blockchain were originally created to provide access to those who have consistently been left out. Now, I don't know. Go back to Bitcoin, and it seemed like they wanted to step away from the banks. Now, a big push for Stellar Foundation was to bank the unbanked. They came out and said that. I don't remember Ripple coming out and talking about banking the unbanked. What I remember Ripple doing is banking the banked. It's like, how can we help big banks move big amounts of money? Stellar Foundation said, how do we help little guys move little amounts of money? And there's a whole bunch of other assets in the class that people are making tons and tons of money on, building themselves up, developing in the space, innovating in the space all over the world. So, but then you go to that Senator Warren statement, Chip. And so what else did it say here? So it's originally created to provide access to those who have consistently been left out, and many companies are using this tech for precisely that purpose. Hey, that's 100% spot on. I like some of the things he's saying, but Elizabeth Warren has recognized that the current banking system. What is this statement, Chip? What is this? Shadowy supercoders.
What in the hell? First of all, they're shadowy supercoders, and my mama had high cheekbones, and that's why I thought I was I don't know. She's one of the most. Oh, come on, it's a stretch. Most prominent. That's like beyond stretch. Okay. Now, if you kill one of the most prominent grandmas who's out of touch with reality, I'll be like, I'll give you that bone. Okay, I'll take that. But
more prominent as a skeptic is the Shermanator.
Oh, well, Shermanator's he's just in a different class.
He might not be on a banking committee or anything like that, but his district is high tech. He represents high tech.
Well, not only that, Jeff, but we discovered that all of his donations to campaign donations come through the big bank. So they're like, just kind of go out there and attack this crypto thing. We're not really liking it so much. At the hearing titled "Cryptocurrencies, What Are They Good For?" Absolutely nothing. Say it again. No. It says like, that's what it was titled. not like how about the future and beyond the cryptocurrencies, innovation, helping the unbanked, one of the largest wealth transfers in the history of the entire world. No. Cryptocurrencies, what are they good for, right? It's kind of like leading down that path of destruction and dismay, right? And then so you had Jerry Brito of the Pro Crypto Tank Coin Center, and he's supposedly one of these highfalutin sort of influencers in Washington, but didn't really open his mouth when it came to talking about this whole Ripple getting sued by the SEC. Oh no, then they're silent.
No, but all the warning signs, warning signs, warning signs, warning signs, warning signs. They're all flashing, Chip. Oh, go back up. You missed that key part of the warning signs. There you go, right there. They're all flashing the hype, the volatility, the wild claims that turn out to be false. As the crypto market grows, so do the risks to our financial stability and our economy. That statement alone is a risk to the stability, our financial stability, and the stability of our economy. You want to crush innovation where it stands. Keep passing along misinformation and the falsehoods and the false narratives of what cryptocurrency was or is. I mean, it's like, enough already. Come on.
Look at this one, Joe.
She's got her boy over there, Gensler, in the chair of the SEC. I mean, the guy who taught at the MIT. I mean, come on. He can educate her a little bit.
I didn't say it, Jeff, but I was tempted. I didn't say it. Okay, I'm just saying.
Again,
Ani did it. Okay, I want to blame it on Ani. Okay, so listen to this one. This is even more preposterous. Part of Warren's issue has to do with the idea that crypto isn't really all that decentralized. Unlike the government that's going to be the nanny state and tell us what to do. You ought to do this and sticking their finger in our eye all the time, right? Or disintermediated, or is often argued by the faithful. All these straw man arguments. Who are the faithful, right? The faithful argue that. No, they don't. Much of the wealth remains concentrated in the largest companies, and mining pools have ways of exerting control over the system. Okay, well, you might right. Well, that may be that that narrative was true 6 months ago. But what happened in China, where it was all concentrated, Jeff?
It was all in China. Well,
where is it now?
Now it's in Texas.
It's in Texas, baby. Right? A shift of right. They're always like a day late and a dollar short, or a crypto short, or whatever, euro short. They're always missing it. They're always off. It's like, great, she caught up to the narrative that's going on a year ago. And meanwhile, she missed the whole thing where China kicked them all out and they went to Eastern Europe, or most of them set up shop in Texas.
What about El Salvador with the volcano power? That's the most impressive.
By the way, we got to make, I think I sense a volcano power shirt that's going to be entering our merch store at onthechain.shop. I think that's going to have to be a necessity. If you guys have ideas for stuff,
got to get the volcano power shirt.
And the first thing that when they start talking about a centralized system that's falling apart based on debt, instead of leaving our financial system at the whims of giant banks, crypto puts the system at the whims of some shadowy, faceless group of supercoders and miners, which doesn't sound better to me. Well, that's because she sits in her home and she's like having a beer and she's like, "Oh, hi, honey," to her husband, who just happens to be walking by. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were here." I mean, what are they haven't seen each other in years. This is the same person who's allowed to weigh in on their faceless group of supercoders. How can they be faceless? You go to Garlinghouse is all over the TV media. Look at look at Justin Sun. Well, that's not a good example. He's disappeared somewhere.
Well, look at Sir John.
Lily Marlin.
Warren and other senators went after some of the breathless rhetoric around crypto, dismissing oft-cited promises of greater financial inclusion. Oft-cited promises of greater. See, listen, and this is where I disagree with Greg Garlinghouse. I know he's got to play the good guy. Like, I'm really encouraged. And Senator Warren, you're right. We have to fix some of the things. She's not talking about fixing things. She's talking about breaking up crypto and destroying it into a billion and splintering it into a million pieces.
It's complete counterbalance. I mean, complete opposite. Here's Brad Garlinghouse building the crypto company, the blockchain company of the century, figuring out how to change the way money is moved between banks all over the world. And I get it. He's still using the brick and mortars and the banking structure, the banking infrastructure, but he's changing the way it's being done. And they're fighting back because now Swift has that whole Swift Slow program that they're rolling out. Swift Slow. And
it's called Go, but anyway, Jeff.
Swift Go. That's what I meant, not slow. Swift Go. Swift go, Swift slow, so, but come on. I
like
mean,
Swift.
it's just too much, Chip, too much. I mean, at some point you got to drop your politics and you have to say, you know what? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Enough. It's just like, come on. How long has Brad Garlinghouse been in this business? How long have they? 2012, they rolled it out. They rolled out Ripple, and they've been trying to build since then. And now the SEC's coming after them, unregistered security, and the SEC losing every step of the way. Again with the judge, and she's sticking by her guns. The whole nefarious purpose. She went from nefarious purpose to shadowy figures in the dark. Shadowy programmers. They're in the basement clicking away. They have the glow of that faint glow of the monitor reflecting off of, from their eyes, as they're in there, and they're kind of illuminated slightly in the dark. That's, come on.
Look at this. The longer that the US waits to adapt the proper regulatory regime, wrong word, by the way, for these assets, the more likely they will become so intertwined in our financial system that there could potentially be serious consequences if the market comes under stress. The market going under stress is exactly why we have cryptocurrencies, right? It's a place to actually park your wealth. It's a place to say, well, geez, that's weird. I have $100 sitting in the bank for a year and it buys 60% less than it did a year ago.
Too big to fail. That's the way. Bail out the insurance companies. Let's bail out all the banks. Let's bail out General Motors. Let's bail out all of these. Let's pull the carpet out, from the real estate. Let's, try to destroy the market. Let's drop the bottom out of the stock market. Let's do everything we possibly can. Ramp up the debt, until, there's zero value to the currency. I see how they're doing a great job for us.
Yeah, well, the thing is that, when they start barking about like regulatory clarity, financial inclusion, and we're really concerned. No. This is always the opposite. They're projecting, and the monetary system's about ready to collapse. They didn't get their great reset that they were so hopeful about. And it turns out, in the end, what's going to end up happening with these nutters is they're going to be the last ones to know, because the whole government goes DAO, right? That decentralized autonomous organization, which means that we, the people, make the rules, right? And there's not one person. It's a problem when they go into government. It's like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. And they get there, they get taken behind the woodshed, a cup of wax with a piece of wood, and says, sit down, pal, this is how it works back here. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, until they get to be that position where they can take someone else to the woodshed. Because does anybody actually believe that they're in government for 40 years because they're doing such an outstanding job? We'd never want to put somebody else in there. I mean, geez, nothing to see there, right, Jeff?
That's it, exactly. Man, I was going to try to pull this article up here so we could look at the whole thing with Swift, and I couldn't get back this ad. You got the biking shorts, just something wrong.
What the heck is that, Jeff?
Nothing right with these biking shorts. So come on.
That looks really evil, dude. I was like wondering, what the hell? What are you doing over there, man? Everything okay?
It's hilarious. That's the funniest thing I've seen. I looked at this, I'm like, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know, but I was actually gonna put a video up, real quick video here. I wanted to play. This was something. Let's see. This is you know how fun it is trying to get these videos on here. My God, I was gonna click 15 buttons. Good golly. Anyway, Eric Voorhees. You know him, you love him. He's a good dude. Oh, why the hell can't I? That's weird. Here it is. Voorhees.
To start growing money trees. Do you think the Howey test applies to the money trees?
No, just the orange tree. Orange rose.
So if you get the money trees and you put the money inside the lemon tree, the lemons of the tree, and then it's all good.
No, I think it's gonna be good. Anyway, this is Eric Voorhees, and this is Laura Shen. Well, I usually play her, but let's listen to this.
At Bitcoin Miami, where you kind of poke the bears a little bit at the conference. What spurred you to make those remarks against maximalism?
Yeah, so I've been outspoken against maximalism for years, and this has, of course, made me very hated by the maximalists. At that conference, so this was a Bitcoin-focused conference, and I get that, I respect that. I can appreciate a conference that tries to get all the noise of other tokens and other projects out of there and just talk about Bitcoin. I'm all for that. Right before I went up as a moderator of a panel, the panel before me, their topic was Like it was something like why toxic maximalism is good for Bitcoin. So not just maximalism, not just like Bitcoin is the only one we should focus on, but like toxic maximalism. Like how big of assholes can we be to people who don't think like us about Bitcoin? And so these people were on stage talking about the virtues of toxic maximalism. I don't know who these people were. I don't know when they got into Bitcoin, but absolutely that is not the community that I come from in Bitcoin. The community I come from in Bitcoin is one of openness and one of decentralization, of innovation, of caring passionately about monetary economics and believing that Bitcoin is a better money system for the world. And that if there is an enemy, it is central banks and banking and fiat currency, not the Dogecoin community, not the Ethereum community, right? And yet there are these toxic maximalists that get up there and just trash these people. And they've spun themselves up into thinking that like trashing these people is a virtue and is helping Bitcoin and is good. I think it's like frankly, I think it's just kind of disgusting. And I was embarrassed. It was the first Bitcoin conference I've ever been to where I was embarrassed about many of the people who were there.
If you enjoyed watching this clip, hop on a
That's
Right?
amazing.
I mean, he totally nailed it. Voorhees is fantastic. I mean, he called it out. He said it. And he was actually embarrassed to be there, Jeff. That's incredible. I mean, and you and I went down there and we saw just like there was a lot of nutters. I mean, luckily, you know, we did run into our pal, Tone Vase, who was, you know, down there doing his thing. But, you know, we obviously went down there to really hang out with, you know, Mr. Alex Mashinsky, CEO, founder, extraordinaire, you know, the father of voice over IP, but of, what am I having a brain fade here, Jeff? Come on, help me out. You're supposed to jump in and rescue me.
Oh.
Founder of
what?
Celsius.network. Jeff, you're supposed to jump in
Oh,
and say that.
Alex Mashinsky you're talking about.
No, we went down to see him. That's why we're at the Bitcoin 2020. 2021. Holy cow. Can someone give Jeff a memo and let him know we're doing a show? Guys, we are live doing a show. What is going on here?
Find something. All right. Thanks.
Oscar just says, hey, if you haven't already, send someone a message today. Let them know how much you hate them. This is how we grow. It's like, that's a really great statement right there, because it's probably the worst possible way. If it's like the opposite way you grow. And this is why you create so much dissension inside of there. You know, I mean, my good Lord, it can be rough.
The whole maximalist thing, you know, I think one point that we have to get across to him, use the statement. If you're going to be a maximalist, it's like only having, like you bring up all the time, just Amazon stock. That's it.
And what? Everything else is garbage, Jeff. You don't know. You don't know the real stock is Amazon.
Amazon. That's right.
No, that's your analogy. And my analogy, it's going to be Apple, but that's okay. You know, you can call whatever you want.
No one talks about Google or Microsoft anymore.
Because
my one stock is Palantir. How about that?
Palantir. I've been a fan of Palantir. I still can't believe I got it at 9. That was amazing. Opening right. Like that never has happened to me. I've missed every boat that's ever sailed. And I got on that boat and it's sinking slowly, Jeff. I don't know. It's a slow sinker. It's like,
and they're into everything. Every news article pops up on Palantir. It's like they got this government contract, this private contract. They're doing everything. And then the stock. It's like,
Jeff, I'm still on the Palantir boat. I'm still here, man.
The Palantir stock is like XRP. It's like
still here.
All the positive news and no movement. There you go. Somehow. Oh man, Palantir is going to be good stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll be good someday. It did hit 40, and that would have been a good time to sell it. I mean, quite honestly. But you know, I mean, Matic hit 242. What are you going to do? I mean, you know, that happens. You know, and then Dot was up to Polkadot was up to 40, and
the good days. Those are the good old days, Chip.
XRP hit 384, and then that was on the and you brought it up earlier, Jungle. That was on the sort of rumor that it could be one day actually be listed on Coinbase. And when it actually was, people were like, hold my beer. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
It was the biggest non-event ever in the history of the crypto space. And I think it actually crashed a little bit. Who knows? I mean,
I love listening to Jungle talk about Coinbase. So when you talk about
wants to have some more of those biker shorts.
Some of those biker shorts.
Jeff, put that up again, Jeff. What the hell is going on? What are you?
These aren't even mine. It's not even from my searches. I mean,
what's going on with that stuff,
I look for running gear.
And we get
gear and stuff
I
like
hope
that.
at some point I get served up a good ad from Permission. My God, I'm like better than the biker shorts. You know, can they serve me an ad?
I got, there you go. Here's the, that's my latest ad right there. The Roken tactical clothing brand.
What the hell, dude? Well, it also comes with a pre-made mud thrown on there. You know, that's
It's right. You got to get the belts
what the
kind
hell?
of all ratty.
Look at
You
that
know,
Martin one. Could that be any dirtier? I mean, it's just ground in mud. I mean, I'm sorry, man.
out of the
The
right
good
out of
news,
clothing.
10% off your first order. How many
That's
orders did you have, Jeff? I mean, how many did you order of those?
And I ordered so much of it at 10%. Got
We can do
nothing.
that at a merch store. We can have one that looks all dirty, like a shirt that looks all like filthy dirty. I don't think anybody would buy it.
That's gonna be the volcano power. It's gonna be a white shirt. It's gonna like have volcano ash all over it, and it's gonna be like, you know, that's nice.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Guys, if it's your first time here, you guys know what to do. You got to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. That way you guys get notified. By the way, I was looking at stats today, Jeff, and I'm wondering if I could just share this one thing. Oh, I don't have it up here. I had it up here earlier. But it was a stat that said 25% of people actually get that notification that it goes out.
Nice. If you can figure that out,
I'm not sure what that is, Jeff.
then you get a free volcano shirt.
It's a blub. It's above my pay grade. And by the way, by pay grade, I just means something I don't quite understand. I always ask my kid when she's like, you know, she's doing all this advanced math and she figures all this stuff out for me. I'm like, I do have a very advanced calculation. A lot about digital assets. I'm not programming them, nothing like that. So, but anyway, that's it, man. That's all we know, guys. Come on back tomorrow night. That's it. We're gonna have Rob Cash on here. Rob Cash on the set. He's gonna be here. Yeah, well, it goes by quick, Jeff. It's
Dude, Tuesday, Jungle was on, man. His 20 minutes went by. Hey,
Just like
so
that.
for all those who don't realize, we are an hour into this. We do stream. If you're brand new here, we stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have by far the smartest commenters, smartest viewers, smartest subscribers in the entire crypto YouTube space. Appreciate all of you guys. Big shout out to my dad for coming in and not putting anybody in timeout tonight that I know of.
Very good tonight. Yeah, very good.
Good job with to all the mods out there. Looking forward to being back here tomorrow night, same time, same channel, Chip.
See you guys on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.